We can check buildings where we may not have had a report of people being trapped, but we have a duty to make sure that those buildings, to the best of our knowledge, are not occupied in their broken state by people who are needing our support. So we'll be overnight visiting dozens and dozens of different sites, and we're going to be asking people, as I said, to not come into the central city area. We've put a cordon around the city. We've got at this moment a significant number of military personnel coming in. They will be guided by our police, and we're shutting down the city from the 4 avenues in. Now clearly there are people living in this area in a number of places, and we're saying please stay put where you are overnight and listen for further instructions from us. It is very likely that the centre of our city will be shut down for a significant amount of time. It is not safe for people to come into it other than the people who have the right skill sets and who can analyse the state of the buildings around them. So you've got to take a lot of care.
And can you give us any indication when the rescuers go into these buildings to try and get out these people? Obviously a lot of them are going to still be very unstable, so
yes.
What kind of care has to be taken?
Well, there has to be a lot of care taken, and you know, what we can't do is have individual acts of courage, no matter how well intended, resulting in potentially further loss of lives, because then we have another problem on our hands and we have to rescue new people. That is why we use the highly trained urban search and rescue people. We've got rescue dogs coming, we've got all sorts of appropriate equipment arriving in the city, and the best way to get through this immediate rescue phase is by using the most skilled people. With the best will in the world, it's actually possible to create a more dangerous situation by enthusiastic volunteers. We will call for volunteers when we need them, and the call that I'm making for volunteers at the moment is volunteers in your community. We have to work at a grassroots basis. Look after yourselves, look after your family, look after your neighbours. Check on the houses in the street where you know there were people living by themselves. Be understanding. We're all frightened, we're all traumatised, none of us know exactly what will happen next. So get together with your neighbours tonight. Share that warmth of human company. Put someone on the sofa in the lounge if you have to. Pull out that spare mattress. But get together and support each other and remain calm. That's the best thing we can do for each other.
Bob, are the police collating a list of missing people?
Yes, the police are pulling that together, and we'll announce the phone number that the police are currently setting up. It has to be a properly measured process, and that phone number I hope we'll be able to announce. Do we have an advance on when we'll have that phone number from anybody? I know Sarah was going to find out for me.
Do you have an idea
another
how many people
bed.
are missing now?
No, well, we don't know that at this stage.
150, 200?
Yes, I'm still looking at that sort of area, but the thing that I would stress to you is that I know everybody wants to know numbers, and I know everybody is desperately concerned. And what we are doing is we do not want to create a situation where we either raise false fears or, for that matter, false hopes. We've got to live and act in the reality of this situation. We are in the middle of a major disaster on global terms. We have come through it amazingly well yet again, but the damage sets us back to where we were on September the 4th, and it raises for our residents a lot of new fears and concerns. So we've got the government standing side by side with us. We will have food in the city. There is no need to worry about food. We will have fresh drinking water supplies brought into the city. You need a wee bit of patience around some of those issues, and I know that you would like us to put our efforts where we are putting them tonight, and that is into the rescue.
Bob, we've driven up from Ashburton today, a tremendous amount of people on the roads and filling up the gas stations.
Yes.
Would you recommend that if people could get out of town, they should go?
Look, I think people have to follow their own common sense in this issue. And I think a number of people have friends and family outside of the city. I think that's a good idea. There's no need to panic about that. Those main arterial roads and access ways out of Christchurch are actually fine. But why not? If you have that opportunity, if you're normally working in the central city, I don't think that you're going to be coming back to work in the very near future very quickly. And clearly that's something that the government is right now working with me, working with Civil Defence, working with the city to address. We recognise that the stress and the financial issues and the other things that are in front of us have shifted to a new level now. We are working on what we can do as a city and as a nation to put support in place, and we will definitely in the coming days with the government announce a number of measures that we'll take. So right now, try not to worry about all those other things that normally fill our minds on a day-to-day basis, and the mortgages and the jobs and all of that. I know it is a worry for all of us, but at the same time, you've got to realise that you're, at the moment, fortunate to be alive and well, and that's the greatest gift. We've got other people right now who are caught between it. As we talk at this moment, there are people who are fighting for their lives, and that's where our hearts are, that's where our minds are, that's where our effort is tonight. Now, I've just been handed the police number. This is the helpline for welfare inquiries, and it is 0800 77 99997. So that's the police helpline, 0800 77 99997. That's for welfare inquiries. That means
that is the mayor of the New Zealand city of Christchurch, Bob Parker, making recommendations to residents there in the wake of the devastating earthquake in the Southern Island that's left 65 people dead. The mayor urging residents to remain calm and calling on them to save water for drinking only. Let's go to our Asia News Centre, to Divya Gopalan for more on this story. Divya.
That's right, Foley. The mayor was also telling people to stay away from the central business district. That area was the worst hit, and that has been cordoned off. Many buildings there have been damaged, and they're worried that they would still collapse. So that area has been cordoned off, and only rescue workers can enter there now. As you said, Foley also told people to save water and not use their mobile phones so much, as communications are disrupted and they don't want to stress the communication system. Now, he is basically preparing people for a very heavy night ahead, and one that is very uncertain for most people. Now, the Prime Minister has confirmed the number dead. He said at least 65 people have been killed. He also warned that that death toll could rise as hundreds of people are still stuck under collapsed buildings. The search and rescue operation is expected to go overnight. The mayor said at least 12 teams have been fanned out across the worst hit areas to help with pulling people out of the rubble. Also, the army has been drafted in, and army helicopters have been called in to help with that search operation. But the mayor has said the area, the city, is like a war zone. Azar Sukri has more.
Part of a building collapses, narrowly missing some pedestrians. And a house-sized boulder crushes another structure.
The floor's trembling.
New Zealand television captured the moment the quake struck the country's second biggest city of Christchurch. These pictures were recorded during one of the many aftershocks which badly damaged the city's cathedral. Residents described the terrifying moments after the quake struck at lunchtime and their attempts to escape